affects it most and some of the ways that we can combat it. So I want to start with how the idea gelled. And it's a big topic. It's something that a lot of people don't want to touch. But we're here to talk about racism, which is another topic that people don't want to touch either. And we're just going to talk about it. So I like to listen to Spotify. Does anybody else? Spotify fans? Okay, Pandora. Yeah, I say thank you Spotify when I'm driving over the west side and I'm bored and I don't want to fall asleep on the path, so I tune in. And I was headed to this Faculty of Color retreat that's organized by the state of Washington, where I get to be a mentor to another minority faculty member at Spokane Falls Community College. And I was searching for anything educational, you know, trying to make the most of the trip. And I came across a savvy psychologist, Dr. Ellen Hendrickson. And I tuned right into the imposter syndrome. That's where it started. So I didn't know it at the time, but the keynote speaker at this retreat would go on to talk about the imposter syndrome. And that's Joshika Harden, who is the VP of Student Services at Seattle Central. So there you go. It resonated with me. It really spoke directly to me, and I had all this time to think about it. So what did I learn? I learned that everybody feels like a fake at some point in their lives. Do you know how many people feel that way? 25%? 50? Going up? 70. Whoa. That's huge. But who do you think feels it the most? Women. Minorities. LGBT individuals. So here's what Dr. Hendrickson said. She said, those people in particular are prone to the imposter syndrome. And I love this quote. I actually pulled it right off the podcast. She said, they feel like they're living in a high achievers version of the Sesame Street song. One of these things is not like the other. Then she goes on to say that because these individuals do not match the larger majority of the culture of their school or organization, they often struggle to feel legit. They may feel like they just don't belong, and even in the face of evidence of their well-deserved success, they may dismiss it as, sheer luck, good timing, or even worse, the result of deceiving others into thinking that they're better than they really are. So has anybody ever felt that? All right, so I'm going to ask, who here is first gen? I'm going to raise my hand too. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, first gen, yeah. So you think it's hard, right? Being first gen? Well, isn't that true for just about being the first for anything? Yeah. I tell you what, so especially if you're a member of a group that's been oppressed or suppressed or barred from places of power and influence, you're going to feel that even more. And I'll tell you a short story. It's about this woman named Mamie Parker. Mamie was the first African American to hold one of the highest positions in the U.S. Fisheries and Wildlife Services Department. She was the Assistant Director of Fisheries and Habitat Conservation from 2003 to 2007. She's a daughter of sharecroppers, and her mother lived for fishing and the outdoors, which probably explains why Mamie had a love of fishing and biology really early on. She'd have been great at the Women's March for science. But it shouldn't matter that she was African American and female, right? She was already bright, so she was qualified as any for that position. But she worked many years anyway before netting her big position, and she thought she was okay. But the reality really sunk in when the janitor of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services walked in one day and she said, you know, I've been here for almost 40 years. And no African American woman has ever been in here except to clean the office. Whoa. So our sense of belonging is affected when others out us, or they're awestruck or perplexed by how we got to where we are in the first place. And Miss Parker really felt it. And it's a really intense feeling that can cause us to fall back and fail. And unfortunately, a lot of us do. But for those of us who press on, we do so with a steely determination to prove other people wrong. And that does come at a price too. And the price is that we tend to work twice as hard, only to feel half as good. And that's what happened to Mamie Parker. So I could go on to tell you a lot more individuals such as Mamie Parker, pretty big name individuals, Oprah Winfrey, Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook, and even Michelle Obama. Yeah, a really confident woman, but she herself experienced imposter syndrome. But I want to bring it right home here to WVC, to Wenatchee. And I want to explain my own story to you about feeling like an imposter. When I was hired back in 1993 at the University of Oregon as a tenure-track assistant professor of communications, fairly recent immigrant, I just done my PhD, freshly minted, black, of course, female, 27 years old at PhD. I was the youngest of the bunch, and I was hired into a faculty of white, predominantly male faculty, white water rafting, fishing guys, and they invited me out to whitewater raft and fish, and I said, no, thank you, I didn't fit in, I don't fish. And I really wish I was Mamie Parker with her mad fishing skills. That would have served me really well. But what did I do, right? So what I decided was I was going to fall out, didn't have a safety net, I decided to press on. And in doing that, I worked twice as hard, only to feel half as good. And I really did that for 4 agonizing years. I had no role model. I was the only African American on the faculty at the time. No mentor, no feeling of a future there. And so it didn't last much longer than that, 4 years, and I decided to move on. And fortunately, I found validation in the diversity work that I went on to do in communications. And along the way, I met a lot of other people like me who had similar experiences. People that were faculty like me, and also I found students were also experiencing that. And I came right here to WVC in 2013, January 2013, and I started hearing people talk about it. And they didn't give a name to it at the time, but they would come to me, and I started really empathizing with them. So I'll give you an example of what I've experienced through others. I was going through my social media posts recently, and I was looking at some of my former students who I had been following, and one in particular stood out to me. Just 2 words she posted: imposter syndrome. And it was Teresa Mata Cervantes. Some of you may know her. And she went on to UW very recently, and she was a former student of mine in public speaking. And after a while, I let it set in, and then I rummaged through my inventory of resources because I wanted to find something to share with her that would help her. And you know what I sent her? It was a TED Talk. Amy Cuddy, your body language shapes who you are. Some of you are nodding, yeah. And I said to her, Teresa, you gotta fake it till you make it. I said, no, correction, you gotta fake it till you become it, because that's what Amy Cuddy says, you can become it. And so then a little after that, I asked Teresa, can you just share with me exactly what you experienced? Because she's a little cryptic about it, and I thought, okay, let me learn more. And so she listened to me privately, and she said, here's my story. So I'm going to share word for word what she wrote, because it's pretty powerful. She said, as a first-generation Mexican-American woman aspiring to go to college, I knew my journey would be anything but simple. After high school, I decided to attend Wenatchee Valley College because I felt it would prepare me and create a smooth transition to continue my education at the university level. Once accepted to the University of Washington, I was beyond thankful for the amazing opportunity to attend such a prestigious school, and honored as I would be the first in my family to obtain a bachelor's degree. However, when I first began school at UW, it was very difficult to get adjusted. Everything was different, everything. From the size of the school to the teaching styles, and every other teacher I had was from Harvard. it was all very intimidating, and personally, I felt the imposter syndrome. So, Teresa felt like she didn't belong at UW, that she felt like it was a mistake, and she wasn't worthy of being at such a prestigious school. And to make matters worse, she failed her first exam. She admitted to that. And that confirmed in her mind that she really didn't belong. But you know what? She's still there. So we know she didn't throw in the towel. And she actually said that she realized that obtaining a bachelor's degree was not only her dream. Dreamers, listen up. It was a dream of her parents too. And she knew in her heart that she had worked just as hard, perhaps even harder than anyone else to get to UW, and she was not about to let a single score sabotage her entire future. And who's to say that Harvard University is not within her reach one day? 2 weeks ago, I had a one-on-one conversation with Yuritsi Lozano. And Yuritsi, are you here? Is she here? All right, well, you can tell I've been talking about her. So Yuritsi is the director of CAMP, the College Assistance Migrant Program. And hopefully a lot of you know what that is. I work closely with Yuritsi. I have a lot of CAMP students. And Yuritsi herself, you CAMP students can take a good lesson from this, because Yuritsi herself said that she felt the imposter syndrome when she started UW, just like Teresa. And then she went on to grad school. She was pursuing her master's degree in educational leadership and policy, and she got hit with it again. Because she was in a class of deans and administrators who also pursued the degree. And Yuritsi looked at me and she said, you know what? I feel like we have to continuously prove ourselves, prove that we got here on our own merit and not through affirmative action or tokenism. And I took consolation in knowing that I was not alone. And I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. If you're feeling this, you're not alone. So you'll notice there's a common thread in all the stories that I've shared with you today. What is it? When do we feel the imposter syndrome the most? When does it hit hardest?
When we're getting close to succeeding.
Yeah, when we're getting close to succeeding. Any other times? New job? Promotion? Grad school? Right? So those are transition points in our lives where it really hits us that maybe we shouldn't be there. And even as we move onward and upward in our lives, we carry that nagging, dragging feeling. It really drags us down that we're not good enough. So I want to ask you, what can we do? Actually, I'm not going to ask